Hello, dear subscribers. Thank you for watching one more of my videos. Thank you and be welcome, especially students who are meant to watch this video. I hope that you make notes and ask questions later. That's the purpose of all these videos that I'm making for you. So in today's lesson, we're going to learn a little bit about the continuation of a topic that I was just discussing with my students. My intermediate students have been studying several English tenses. And among the tenses that they have been studying, we have already discussed used to and the uses of these. And now we are still in lesson 4, and the name of this unit is Balancing Your Life. Now, talking about life and these major changes that life can bring, we need to talk about English in terms of future tense. So in this lesson, we're going to provide suggestions and pieces of advice in both oral and written forms accurately, but we need to set goals, figure out the process to reach them, and exchange those thoughts. And this is what we're going to have in the next lesson. And we'll also predict future possible events, but we're going to see today the differences between will and be going to in order to know when to make these predictions and how to make them. So let's get started and let's see what we have. Future with will. Remember that this unit focuses on will and the uses of this tense. Future simple or simple future is generally described or used when you use the auxiliary will. We usually or normally use will to speak about the future. It is always combined with another verb. Since will is classified as a modal verb, like others such as can, would, could, or should, it has the same characteristics. In other words, it does not change in the third person singular, he, she, it. It is always combined with another verb in the base form. So it means that you will have the auxiliary will for future tense, and then you will have the base form of a verb. It's not an infinitive because infinitives have two. So it will be the base form of a verb. We don't use it with do in questions or in negatives, like if we're making a simple present statement, because we are now talking about future, okay? So since we're gonna use future with will, remember, we're gonna have a form of will plus the base form of the verb. So what are the uses of will? When do we use will? Or what do we use it for? For things that we decide to do now, for quick or spontaneous decisions. Example, I'll call a taxi for you. I think we'll go right now. I just decided this right now. Which one? I will have the chicken sandwich, please. So in situations where we have to make quick decisions, we use will. 2, when we think or believe something about the future, when we're making predictions, in other words. This can be based on personal judgment or an opinion. Examples, the president will not be re-elected at the next election. You're making just a prediction, but you're not sure about it. I think it will rain later, so take an umbrella with you. I think you will find a movie interesting. Notice that you're using I think before the subject and the verb will plus the base form of the verb. So what you have here is the uses of will, the most common ones, spontaneous decisions and about predictions. You use them to make predictions when you have probably no solid reason to believe that, but you're making a prediction based on personal judgment or just an opinion. You also use it to make an offer, a promise, or to make a threat. And you have some examples. You look tired. I'll finish the dishes for you. You're volunteering to do something. You're making an offer to do something. I will do my best to help you. You're promising something. I will have it ready by tomorrow. So you're saying that you will have it. So you're promising tomorrow you have to have that ready. Next one, for a habit that is predictable behavior. My daughter will fall asleep as soon as she is put into bed. He will give up if he starts losing. He always does that. And I made these two sentences have a star at the end because this is also a way some grammarians will call these sentences are a present statement in a very formal way. If you dig into the structure of this sentence, the very deep structure will not suggest future, but it will express something routinary. Look, the verb always is used in the second example. So here, a predictable behavior is something routinary, something that happens on a very regular basis. The next use says you use won't when someone refuses to do something. Example, I told him to clean his room, but he won't do it. She won't listen to anything I say. Like this expected behavior from that person when he or she does the opposite of what you're asking. Now, when we talk about the negative and interrogative forms of will or future simple, we talk about that. We talk about this negative construction saying that in the negative form, we add not to the end of will and not to the main verb. So you will have will not and then the verb form. Example, I will not be in the office tomorrow. That is the correct form. You cannot say I will be not in the office tomorrow. Okay. Another example is they will not stay here. You will not say they will stay not here. That's totally incorrect. And for the interrogative form, if it is a yes/no question, you will have to invert the order. So you will have will at the beginning, and then you will have a subject, a verb in the simple form, remember, plus a complement, and obviously a question mark at the end. Example of this is, will all students go back to face-to-face classes in August? Yes, they will. No, they won't. We don't know. We're still in expectations, right? We're still waiting to know a little bit more about it. Now, you have requested me in class to know a little bit about the difference between the future expressed using will and the future expressed using going to. So what is the difference between these two? When expressing the future, we can use both will or be going to. We can even use simple present or present continuous. But in this lesson, we will focus on the difference between be going to and will for future. Differences then. We use going to talk about a planned activity for a future. For instance, you say, there's a good movie on tonight. Yes, I know, I'm going to watch it. You have already planned that activity. So you're going to the movies. You're going to go to watch that movie because you have planned it. Why is Betty in a hurry? Because she is going to meet her brother at the station at 6. Oh, she has already planned to meet her brother. Second use, will. We use will when we decide to do something at the time of speaking. For instance, so as I was saying, for instance, you'll have here the expressions or the examples. We use will when we decide to do something at the time of speaking. That's the second yes. For example, what would you like to drink, sir? In a restaurant, for example. I will have a glass of milk, please. You have made a very quick decision. Second example. Oh, you have left the door open. Have I? I will go and shut it. So you have made a very spontaneous decision based on what you have just done. And these spontaneous decisions are expressed using will. We use going to for prediction in the near future. The speaker is sure because there are signs about it. She's standing at the edge of the cliff. She's going to fall. It's obvious, right? She's at the edge, so she will probably fall. What is the problem? There are strange noises in the lift. I think the lift is going to break down. Let's get out. You have evidence of that. So you're providing a very predictable result using be going to. Another example says, I feel cold. Look at the black clouds. It is going to rain. You're obviously watching, wow, and you have seen the sky and probably it's very cloudy and you see very black marks over there. So you're probably guessing, but you see evidence. So you're not guessing very much. You have some evidence that supports your argument. So you're using going to, be going to for expressing future. What is the matter with you? I feel terrible. I think I'm going to get sick. I think I'm going to get ill. I think I'm going to be ill. Why? because you have already said that you feel awful, that you feel terrible, that you don't feel okay. You have evidence, be going to. We use will for prediction in the remote future. What does that mean? Check the examples. How is he, doctor? Don't worry, he will be better. When? We don't know. A sickness is something you can never predict, right? You cannot say he will be ready tomorrow because you don't know if his or her body is going to react quickly. The bridge is not so safe. Yes, one day, we don't know when, it will break down. So we're making predictions in the remote future. We don't know when, but we are guessing that it will happen. We use will for requests, invitations, and offers. For instance, will shut the door, please, is a formal request. Will you come to the cinema with me? It's an invitation. That bag looks very heavy. I will help you. It's an offer. So you can use this will as a modal verb to express either request, invitation, or offers. We generally use will for predictions with the following verbs and phrases as I previously said in the uses of will. We use words like believe, expect, hope, think, wonder, I'm sure, I'm afraid, etc. And these expressions, these verbs or verb phrases express somehow the idea that you're not sure about it. You're just predicting that. I believe he will pass the exam. I hope he won't leave us. I'm afraid he will fail the exam. Do you think they will divorce? These examples show that we generally use will for predictions, but we will have this verb or verb phrases before the prediction we make with will. Now, we use will with the adverbs perhaps, probably, or certainly. We do not use going to in this case. Why? Because we're guessing. Perhaps they will support you in the election. Jackson will probably go to London next year. Perhaps, probably, and certainly are expressing probability. So probability is used with the modal verb will and not with be going to. We use will to express a promise, not going to. I will study medicine at the university. I will stop going to the casino. I will stop eating sweet bread because I have gained a lot of weight. Promises. You express promises using will. We use will in a question, tag after imperative, not going to. Do it today, will you? Don't look at your friend's paper, will you? When you are making a question tag or a tag question, you're gonna study that topic later. You do it with the imperative on the left in this part of the sentence, and then the tag question, when you have an imperative, will be accompanied with the auxiliary will. 10 expresses the use of will and says, we use will to give an order or state our wishes, not be going to. Example, will you turn on the lights? You are expressing a wish. In other words, a petition or a request, a formal request. You don't use be going to in that case. We use will to express an action in necessity in the future, not be going to. You will have to pay a fine if you don't pay your tax on time. And if you remember that one is the first type conditional, and we have studied that topic before. And finally, we can say that we use will for a threat. Study hard or you will fail. Give me all your money or you will die. That's a threat. That's a very strong threat. A warning that overpasses a simple warning, but it becomes a threat. Something that can hurt you either physically, emotionally, or verbally. And here, you have some practice. But this is for our next class. So I want you to please take notes. Besides the grammar notes I have given you, I want you to write some ideas about this so that we can discuss them in class. What do you think about public transportation in the future? Health conditions, home office, education, and predictions for example, your friends, your life, the country in general. And what are you going to do about your major, this subject, your family? What are you going to use? Will or be going to? It all depends on the uses. Remember, just to clarify and to give you a very quick reminder, remember that be going to proves something. It has evidence. There's a sign that something is going to happen. And will is based on your personal judgment. So you're making predictions using will, but you're making plans using be going to. Questions about this discussion, you can leave the comments here, down, just below, or you can ask me in post. Thank you very much for watching the video. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye-bye.